Let's talk about how psychedelics impact our brains in a way that might be helpful for conditions like depression and PTSD. Stick around, and you'll gain a better understanding of some pretty cool neuroscience and the potential future of mental health treatment. If you're new here at WS Matrix, we explore topics like this and AI. Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting content. So, let's get started. To explain this topic, I'm going to break it down into simpler terms. The first thing to understand is what psychedelics are. Psychedelics are a category of drugs that can cause changes in perception, mood, and cognitive processes. Some well-known examples include LSD, magic mushrooms, and DMT. A lot of research has been done recently about how these psychedelics could be used to treat mental health disorders. These include conditions like depression, PTSD, addiction, and others. But scientists have been scratching their heads about exactly how psychedelics help with these issues. We know antidepressants can help, but we're still not exactly sure why they work. One theory is that conditions like depression could be caused by a breakdown of connections between brain cells. Now, imagine your brain is like a big city, with neurons being the buildings and connections between them being the roads. In conditions like depression, it's as if some of these roads have been closed down. Researchers have found that psychedelics could be like construction workers, helping to rebuild and reconnect these roads. This happens because psychedelics can stimulate the growth of dendrites, little branch-like structures on neurons that catch signals from other brain cells. It's like adding more doors or entrances to our city buildings, allowing for more interaction between them. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. In a recent study, researchers have discovered that psychedelics, unlike other compounds like serotonin, can activate special receivers, or receptors, within brain cells. These receptors are like the doormen of the building, controlling who can come in or not. And these particular receptors, called 5-HT2A, seem to play a crucial role in how psychedelics work. Usually, most drugs or compounds interact with receptors on the outside of the cell. But the researchers found out that psychedelics can actually interact with these 5-HT2A receptors inside the cell. And this could explain why psychedelics can promote the growth of those dendrites, making new connections in the brain, while other compounds that also interact with 5-HT2A, like serotonin, don't. Let's take a step back and talk about serotonin for a moment. Serotonin is a natural substance made by your brain that transmits signals between your nerve cells. It's sometimes called the feel-good neurotransmitter because it contributes to well-being and happiness. Now, you might be wondering, if both serotonin and psychedelics interact with the same receptor, why don't they have the same effects? Well, the answer has to do with the location of the receptors and the structure of these substances. Imagine the receptors as locks, and the substances like serotonin or psychedelics as keys. While serotonin and psychedelics both can unlock the receptors on the outside of the cell, only psychedelics have the capability to slip inside the cell and unlock the receptors there. This happens because psychedelics are more greasy or lipid-soluble. Think about when you're washing dishes, oil doesn't mix well with water, but it can slip easily over and around surfaces. Similarly, these greasier psychedelics can slip through the cell membrane, a barrier that serotonin can't easily cross, and activate the internal 5-HT2A receptors. In the study, the researchers tested this theory by helping serotonin get into the cells artificially. They found that when they were able to get serotonin inside the cell, it could also activate the internal 5-HT2A receptors and cause neuron growth, just like psychedelics do. But remember, all this doesn't mean that activating these internal 5-HT2A receptors or growing new neuron connections is definitely what makes psychedelics therapeutic. However, it does suggest they could play a big role. Understanding how psychedelics work in the brain can have significant implications for developing new drugs for mental health disorders. If scientists can pin down exactly how psychedelics work, they might be able to develop drugs that can precisely target the necessary receptors, possibly leading to more effective treatments with fewer side effects. Isn't it fascinating how much there is to learn about our brains and how substances like psychedelics interact with it? We hope this discussion has given you some food for thought. If you want to explore more about groundbreaking scientific concepts and the exciting world of AI, don't forget to subscribe to WS Matrix. We love hearing from you, so please leave a comment below on what you think about this topic or if you have any questions. And, as always, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and found it informative. Stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating world of science with us. Remember, we have more engaging content coming your way about AI and other amazing scientific topics. Thanks for joining us on this mind-bending journey, and we'll see you in the next video.